Emma Hammond, welcome to the show. You're on Perfect Health on Elastic FM with Elaine Godley. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
And I understand you're known as the Queen of Automation.
I am. That's what they like to call me.
Okay. Who is they, and why do they call you the Queen of Automation?
Well, it started off with my social media following. So I built a business up. I'm a business coach, but I also specialize in all things automation. So I support people that are building their businesses with automated digital marketing and literally any kind of automated tool, hack, trick or process that's going to give them some more time in their business. So that has started being called the Queen of Automation. I started sharing some incredible content, helping people with their businesses, and that's how it started.
Okay, fabulous. I need to talk to you at some stage because I'm just about to launch a health hub. So that won't be automated initially. It will be me pressing buttons, but that's what I need to get towards most certainly. So, Queen of Automation, how did you get to learn all this stuff, Emma?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a long process. Originally in college, I actually studied marketing and business management in college. It was a while ago, that was. So I always kind of had a love for marketing. Then I've been in sales for quite a while. And then I decided that I wanted to launch my own business. I just had my baby and wanted some more time freedom myself. So I decided that I was going to launch my own business. And hired a business coach who could actually teach me a lot of the tools and tricks. It's actually quite stressful trying to build my own business up on my own. I was a single mom, and it's just looking for ways to try and free up some more time. It was crazy. I was trying to juggle everything. I just couldn't do it all on my own. So I started looking. Hired a business coach, did some courses online, and then I just became absolutely obsessed with researching business tools, apps online, any kind of way to help me save some time so I could actually spend some time with my baby and I wasn't run ragged on my business all the time.
That sounds very easy, but I'm sure it wasn't, coping with a baby as well. And that's actually the main topic of what we're going to be talking about in this interview. So it wasn't easy for you, was it, when you had your baby? So tell us what led you to be writing a chapter in Jessica's upcoming book about birth trauma.
It was not a pleasant experience at all for me. I felt like I was supposed to be enjoying it. I mean, it was like the whole pregnancy. So from when I was about 6 weeks pregnant, I started getting problems with my back. When I was 3 or 4 months pregnant, I started walking on crutches. So I had severe sciatica, the ligaments in my hips kind of displaced. I was in that much pain that I couldn't walk probably for about 5 months. So by the time I was ready to have him, I was not in a good place mentally. I hadn't enjoyed any of my pregnancy. I was in pain a lot of the time. They induced me 2 weeks early because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't function basically by that point. Yeah, so I was induced 2 weeks early, and it was a pretty horrendous labour. Yeah, I was in labour for 24 hours, had to have an emergency C-section, which led to me actually feeling everything during the operation. It was the most intense pain I've ever experienced in my whole entire life.
So aren't you supposed to, I mean, I've had a cesarean and
not supposed to be able to feel it.
No, exactly. I was awake during my cesarean. I had an epidural cesarean, and it was the most weird experience, but I didn't feel any pain at all. So
no,
why did you feel pain?
This is something that I thought about afterwards because they gave me as much medication as they could possibly have. Basically, the top couple of layers was pretty numb, and then everything past that, I could feel absolutely everything. I was like awake, crying, asking if they could give me any more medication. I think everybody's different. I think everyone reacts to medication differently. I think everybody reacts to pain differently. And I think also I was not in a very good mindset at the time. And I strongly believe that your thoughts and your mind are strongly linked to, you know, the amount of pain and suffering that you feel. So possibly that's got something to do with it as well. I wasn't in a very good mindset because of the issues that I had during my pregnancy. But who knows? Who knows?
So were you actually awake? And you say you felt everything, but were the hospital staff aware that you could feel everything?
Yeah.
Were you were conscious and you were talking?
Yeah, I was conscious. I was awake. They wanted me to stay awake. They said it was safer for the baby. And then obviously once they started the operation, I couldn't be put under at that point. So I was communicating exactly what I was feeling at all times. They upped the dosage of pain relief to the maximum that they could, and I could still feel everything.
Gosh. So how long did this go on for? How long was the procedure?
It took them nearly an hour
Oh my goodness.
to get him out.
Crikey. So
Yeah.
how long ago was this?
He's 3.5 now, so that's 3 years, 6 months ago.
It's not that long ago, and it sounds like it's something out of the dark ages.
It was. It was not the experience that I was expecting at all. And after they kind of placed him on me, I was like, okay, he's safe now. Can you put me under? I can't deal with this anymore.
So you asked to be knocked out
Yeah.
completely once you had your son. So, well, what's he called?
He's called Taylor.
Taylor. So has Taylor experienced any difficulties from that experience, as far as you know?
I'm not sure. He's struggling slightly with things now. I think he might possibly have ADHD or he has problems struggling with his emotions, expressing himself. And that can be quite traumatic for him sometimes. He goes into severe meltdowns. Whether or not that's got anything to do with it or it's connected, I can't say.
Have you seen a chiropractor with him, a cranial osteopath?
I haven't, no. Is that something that you recommend?
I absolutely do, yes. Yeah, particularly where birth trauma is involved. They are particularly, they're skilled and trained in this, helping the cranial functionality between the brain and the spine to connect, and they are absolutely amazing. So I would, strongly recommend
into that, definitely.
Yeah, a cranial osteopath person who specialises in children, and they are around. There's not that many, but they are around, and I'm sure you'll find some help and some relief for Taylor. So this dreadful experience, did it put you off for life having more children?
Yeah, I'm not having any more children. It put me off for life. Yeah, but I'm still saying that 3.5 years later, I'm still not broody again. I wasn't really before I got pregnant. I've never been one of these women that craved to have a baby or was really a baby person, shall we say. I never really wanted to have my own child. But I got pregnant and it happened and it was a blessing. It is absolutely incredible. But the experience put me off.
Did that? I guess it must have affected your relationship as well, quite significantly.
The relationship was incredibly affected. We ended up splitting up when Taylor was only 5 months old.
So that is quite significant, isn't it? So you're a single mum and a business person, and he potentially has ADHD or whatever. So you've got your hands full, haven't you, Emma?
Definitely have my hands full. You could say that.
They say that if you want anything doing, give it to somebody who's a busy person, who's resilient, and clearly you are a resilient person. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here talking to me today.
Totally, and that's part of the reason why I do what I do. I want to help support other people with their businesses, especially moms, because I know how tough it is and how much of a struggle it is trying to do everything on your own.
Never say never. I had a horrendous experience with my first labour, and I was in hospital for 10 weeks. I won't go into the details now because it's in the book. I've also contributed a chapter to Jessica's book on birth trauma. But I eventually came round, and my husband of the day would have been such a great father to my daughter. He was a great stepfather to her, and still is. But I thought, oh, bless, he'd be such a great dad. I'm being really selfish here. So I had another child, but it was 12 years apart. So you're 3.5 years in. So never say never.
Maybe I will change my mind. Maybe I'll forget about it.
If you meet somebody and things are right, then who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Might go through it all again.
Yeah. Having said that, my son is autistic. My second child is autistic, and I had an elective cesarean that I was awake for. And although the birth was fine, he wasn't. So who knows? Maybe it's something to do with cesareans. I've no idea, but I'm sure there's experts out there who have opinions on these things. So all in all, girl done good. You had a horrendous experience. You've come out the other end. You help other people. You've written or in the process of writing a chapter for Jess's book, and you blog as well, I believe.
Yeah, I blog as well. I write a lot of articles that are published in several online publications. Also going into speaking as well. I've got a couple of speaking events lined up.
And what do you speak about?
I like to talk about my own personal experience and kind of my life transformation. I like to inspire other people with my story. Tell them about my journey, what I've been through, and that it doesn't matter, kind of where you come from, what trauma you've experienced in your life, or what's happened. If you want something enough, then you can achieve anything. It's all to do with your mindset.
Absolutely, everything is all joined up, isn't it? We're not a mind or a body or a gut. People are talking a lot these days about the microbiome and gut issues, and there's still lots of people haven't joined up the fact that we've got a whole body that needs nurturing, doesn't it? Mind, body, soul, environment, the whole bit. So well done on that. You've chosen a couple of songs, Emma. You've chosen Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine. Why did you choose that one in particular?
It's one of my favourite songs for me, and to help me with my mindset. Just putting on a rock song and dancing around in my living room with a hairbrush. I still do that now, and I'm 34 years old. Or doing some air guitar. For me, that really lifts my mood. So if I'm a little bit low in the morning or I'm struggling with motivation, that's one of my favourite songs to put on and just rock out to, and lifts my mood every time.
Brilliant. I do play it on the show from time to time, and I do jiggle about in my seat when that song's on, so I shall do that. The other song you chose was Hanson, Weird.
Yeah.
So why is that special to you?
Hanson were my favourite band when I was growing up, so from when I was like 12 years old. And their music actually got me through a lot of tough times. I was bullied quite severely in high school. And this one particular song, it's about when you feel like you don't fit in the world and you feel all alone. You feel like you've got no one to talk to. And the words really resonated with me and actually stopped me from committing suicide. I was actually at the point I was about 14 years old and I was going through a particular tough time, actually contemplating it. And I played this album and this song in particular, and I found true solace in the song. And I've actually named my child after one of the band members, Taylor.
Very good. Okay. How do people get hold of you, Emma, if they want you to speak at an event or help with digital marketing or sharing trauma experiences, whatever, birth trauma? How do people get hold of you?
My email address, which is simply info@emmahammond.co.uk. And my business page, Facebook business page as well, which is Emma Hammond, and my website, which is www.emmahammond.co.uk.
Lovely, all nice and simple. Fantastic. Thank you very much for spending time this afternoon, Emma.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.